Hello guys and welcome back to TNT Madness. Today we are going to be looking at a toggleable multi-layer unraidable vault. And the reason I'm doing this instead of an episode of TMFactions is because one, my Blue Yeti cord broke, so I had to order one of those, and that I don't know how long they'll take to arrive, so I'm using my blue snowball, so my voice will probably sound worse than usual. And second, my internet keeps going out, so even if I wanted to play on there, I couldn't, and it's just been a very frustrating day for me. So I thought I would just go and do a different kind of episode instead of actually TMFactions, and this is going to be what I like to call the unraidable chest vault thing. It sort of combines redstone functionality with an unraidable vault. It's essentially just a section of chests where it's unraidable, and then you can open it, and then all the chests become activated, or like you can access them by flicking the lever, and then grab all your stuff that you need, and then flick the lever and take it off. There are tons of unraidable vaults for your chests, but I just feel like this is much easier because it means you can access all of your chests with one flick of a switch, and then after that you can just go ahead and hide them all. So I think it's very, very functional, and at some point on the server I will be building this. So anyway, let's take a look at this thing in action. So what we have here is the very front of all our chests. At the moment I can't access them and no one else will be able to either, but if I flick the lever, then all of these pistons push through forward, or push them forward, so then there's transparent blocks above the chest, so then you can go ahead and access your chests. And when they're like this, you can actually place a creeper egg here and it'll block the block, so they are raidable, but when they're back like this, they are not unraidable. And there's a few reasons for this, so if we just place down a creeper and actually blow it up, if we go ahead and place our creeper down and blow him up, then he won't destroy anything. And if we place one down and try and push him into the block, we can't, because normally you can push creepers into chests because they're technically transparent, but since there is a block between them and creepers are too high, you cannot actually do that. So these will explode, but they won't actually affect your chest. So after you've placed this water on the front, and then you've made a barrier around the back that you can have water across, then this thing actually becomes unraidable in terms of creeper eggs. People can still use TNT cannons to explode, but for things that are inside your base like this, if someone is raiding you, they'll have a ton of creeper eggs most likely, and they will be just using this. So this thing is very, very functional in my opinion, and I actually made like a mini version of this in my base on the actual server in one of my small bases, and it's not quite as good as this, but I still like the design. So also the back end, if we go around the back here, is also very simple. It's also tileable, it's simple, it's just all around a great system. So I'm going to pull this thing apart and actually show you how it works. So what we have here is essentially one piece of module for any chest on here. So if we go ahead and grab this piece out of here, it'll look something like this, and this is tileable above and along the side. And essentially all that happens is at this point, since there is block on top of it, it won't be able to push it, but pistons are transparent, so you cannot actually activate it. But if you activate the lever, then this redstone go along all of the pistons, and they'll push it forward, and since these are both transparent, you can then access your piston, and then you'll have another chest on top, and so on and so forth. So this is essentially the same for all of these, and the trap chests don't make a difference, because if they are being powered, the chests, all the redstone is already being powered, so you don't have to worry about that. And the only thing that isn't consistent along all the chests is this one tiny circuit we have at the end here. So this is 10 long and 3 high. You could technically make this 11 long, but I'd recommend just 10 long and 3 high, and then make several of these, because these are tons of chests anyway. Each of these are double chests, so you've technically got 30 double chests, which is a lot of space. And all we need to do is have an input going into this spot here. This could actually be redstone if you really want to, but I just prefer to have a repeater. So what this does is this just scales up on, you could use glowstone, you could use slab, it's just an upwards tower that goes all the way along here, so that way it activates. And this very front bit here is so when you flick the lever, the water doesn't get displaced. So it gets displaced, but it will go down the front. And we have these ladders on either side for two reasons. One, so you can, since it's really high, so you can actually get up and access your chests. And two, because if we didn't have these ladders here, since there is water on this edge here, the water would spill off the side, which is not ideal. So anyway, now that we've looked at all the redstone and the functionality, let's get on with the tutorial. Okay guys, so now on to the tutorial. What you're going to need is you're going to need this giant area. This 3x12 area represents where you're going to be placing all your redstone and chests. This 2 golden bit represents where you're going to be placing your water. And then this front bit here, this line here, represents where you're going to be placing your pressure plates. And then the white represents where you're going to be placing a box around this thing, and the blue represents where you're going to be placing the water. Let's say, for example, though, this is your wall, you're building it on a corner, then you can just ignore this white and blue and that white and blue, as it'll be on your wall, so this layer of water will be there anyway. It's just there as a reference. But anyway, what you're going to need is you're going to need some building blocks, a redstone repeater, 35 redstone, 30 sticky pistons, 12 pressure plates, 14 ladders and pressure plates, a water source block. You're going to need quite a few, 30 trap chests and 30 chests if you're building the full thing, and of course a lever. So I was mistaken, this thing here is actually 13 wide. So that means this main thing, if you're just building the components, is 13 by 5, and if you're building the whole thing, it's 17 by 8, which is quite big, but you probably won't be building the whole thing. So anyway, let's get started. The first thing you want to do is lay out your very edges. So this is going to be the edge of our chest here, so you want to build it up by 6 blocks, and then we're going to be building up the next one, so you just want to count out 10 blocks, so 5, and then 10, so this will be, we'll be placing this edge right here. You want to make sure that's about 6 high. So the next thing you want to do is just go ahead and start placing down your double chests like so, and we're going to be building this in layers because it is super repetitive after you build the first layer, and it'll be extremely easy to do so after you build it. So after you place that, you then want to place sticky pistons above these on the very back of where the chests are, and then you want to go ahead and place blocks in front of them. Doesn't matter what type of block it is, as long as it's not transparent. And then now we are going to be building essentially the next thing on the top, and you want to do this 3 times up. So once you've finished building it, it should look something like this, and then on the back it should look something like this, and you want to make sure it's 6 high. So after you've done that, now you just want to place a quick little wraparound here, because we're going to be placing your main water is down the front here. So what you want to do next is you want to go ahead and place blocks behind every sticky piston like so, and then you want to place redstone on top of them. So if we go down the bottom here and just repeat it for all of them, this is where your redstone comes into play. You're only using 30 for this, but you will be using 5 for the extender bit that we build down there very shortly. So after you've placed all of your redstone, you can go ahead and check if it works or not, but if you're building it, there's nothing that can really go wrong if you're not. So here's where your slabs or glowstone comes in. For me, I personally like to use slabs, but what you want to do is place either upside down half slabs or glowstone here like so, and then you want to place it so it's in a staircase pattern, and you want this bottom block though to be solid. So whether you're placing with glowstone or not, you want this bottom block to be solid. Then after that you want to place redstone going all the way up there, and then you can go ahead and place a block here that feeds into that with a redstone repeater, and then you can place a lever here. After that you can then go ahead and place blocks, and the reason this is so down low, it's so when you're walking here it's very easy to actually access this lever. So now that you've done that, you just want to go ahead and place ladders on each side that go all the way up to the same level as the blocks, so that's 7 high from ground level, like so. And then after that you want to get your pressure plates and place them in an angle like so. You do however want to make sure that this is some sort of solid block when you are placing these pressure plates on. If you have slabs or something else here, then you do not have to worry about placing down these pressure plates. It's just to stop the water from going absolutely everywhere. Anyway, after you've done that, you can go ahead and place the water down, and as you can see, it will only flow over 1 to start with, but after you activate it, it will spill over the top, and then you'll get your 2 wide water. So what we're going to do now is build our covering for the rest of this, and this thing is very simple to make. You can build this out of obsidian or whatever you want to make it out of, but essentially you're just building a shell on this white block here, and then you are placing blocks on the very top here to cover up the redstone. It is very important that you actually cover this up, because if someone does break into this, it will not be fun. And I just realized that I screwed this up, because you don't need this layer here. You do need the water though. So what you want to do is place blocks along here, and then you want to place a shell along the back like so. So if you are building the shell, I would recommend that you put some sort of cover over the front like so you don't have to water absolutely everything, but you can still water the roof and the sides. So now what you want to do is, after you've built this cover, it can look like this. I replace the ladders and slabs on that side because this will be against the wall. And all you have to do now is go ahead and water it like you would a general base. And you just want to make sure that you water the corners and essentially water every single part of the base so there is no individual spot showing. You can water the front if you want, but no doubt this will be over top of your base. And after you actually water the main component of the base, they can't actually get in it, which is this very back bit. So after we are done watering it, it should look something like this, and then you can go ahead and go down here and activate your lever and have access to all your chests and goodies and have a super happy fun time in your really strong base. So anyway, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you want to see more base building videos like this, then tell me what you'd like to see in the comments below and leave a like. And anyway, goodbye from TNT Mad.